So we have hit the first snag of the trip. Our flight is delayed by a few hours, but it's all good. It's okay. Barcelona isn't going anywhere, and it appears neither are we. Another 90 minutes. We live here now. Still grounded in Dallas, but now I have a smoothie. Am I hungry or just bored? Right around here is where the weather started to become concerning. It was wet, it was windy, and we had a plane, but not a crew. We are now 5 hours delayed and heading to the gate because we think, maybe, possibly maybe, this might be it. It's gonna happen. It did not happen. So, yeah, it's really not happening. We're actually in Dallas for the night. Fortunately, the airline was nice enough to put us up in a hotel. So we're gonna be checking out the accommodations over here. It's not luxury, but you know, it's an air-conditioned place to sleep. And we leave for Barcelona tomorrow night, so we've lost an entire day, which sucks, but you know, it's fine. It is what it is. If we see a pair of twin little girls asking us to play with them, the answer is absolutely not. Okay. All right, let's take a look here. Yeah, it's pretty standard. You know, this is nice. This will absolutely do the job. This will, yeah. There we go. All right. Cool. Let's take a look at the view. Well, I have seen better views, but again, this'll do the job. What are you doing?
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save.
So, the building is not on fire. And, I guess, it's time to bring everything back upstairs and, go to bed. As it turns out, there actually was a fire. Somebody at the breakfast buffet was making toast, and I didn't even get a chance to use the Texas-shaped waffle maker. Turns out there was one good part about this stay. I now have my favorite pickup line: I'm harder for you than Texas water. Since our flight wasn't literally for hours, we checked out of the hotel, and I just enjoyed the smooth jazz of the lobby while letting the time pass before we made our way to the airport. Our second attempt to leave the country was off to a promising start. We had a few hours before our flight, everything was on time, nothing was delayed, everything was A-OK. And that gave us some time to visit some of the historical sites of Dallas and really step into history of a time gone by.
This is how we do it.
College Anthony would be thrilled to know that them skins still hit. Maybe it was the excitement of taking my very first overseas flight, or maybe it was the 4,300 milligrams of salt I had over lunch, but I was hyped. The 9-hour flight to Barcelona included dinner. Do you have any idea how long it's been since I've been served a meal on a plane? Like 30 years. It included the hottest pasta I've ever had and a pat of butter so cold it gave me brain freeze. Also, super munchy cracker! And when you have a gluten-free partner, you get double brookie. Best life only, folks. Vacation has started. And before we know it, we're here. We're really, really here. I'm in Spain. I didn't think it would get any more exciting than Texas-shaped waffles, but here we are. I'm ready to begin the adventure of a lifetime. This is super cute. We have a little balcony. Look at that. Look right out on the beach. Can't beat that view. Look at that. Wow. So beautiful. Oh, I will definitely enjoy having my coffee here. Let's get out of that muggy ass weather. All right. That's very nice. All right. It was only about a 40-minute Uber ride from Barcelona to Sitges, which is where we're staying here, and it is the most adorable, charming beachfront town, and it is just absolutely so charming and so cute and so fun, and the people are so nice. We've already met so many new people, and we hit up Parrots, which was a great place to kind of sit and have frozen boozy slush and people watch, and we absolutely did that. And there were performers in the street. We met a bunch of new people, met up with some other friends, and it's absolutely lovely. I can see what the appeal of this place is. Our first official meal in Sitges was at Via Marina, and I was really excited about the food here because I had just been hearing so many great things, and it absolutely lived up. The first course that we started with was very simple but very, very delicious. It was shrimp with avocado and an aioli style mayonnaise based sauce over a bed of arugula. And one of the first things I noticed is that they didn't get too crazy with the spices. It was just salt and pepper, but both so effectively used. The shrimp was so fresh and delicious, and the arugula just had like this perfect peppery note with the salt and pepper on the avocado. It was just absolutely delicious. I loved it. My main dinner was the white and black truffle ravioli. Now, I know that seems a little unusual to have here, but it just sounded so good, and the woman next to me ordered it, and it looked amazing, so I had it, and it was so, so good. Again, just simple use of salt and pepper. It was like a cacio e pepe style sauce, and it was just so rich and earthy and good and just absolutely perfect first meal. Just finished up dinner around 10:30, which is very normal in Spain. I am dog tired from a 9-hour flight, but I'm in it to win it. So we are just getting the night started. Now it's time for gelato. And then before we were to make a night of it, going through the bars, we kept seeing people coming throughout the town with gelato. And Dave and I both really love gelato. And we were just like, okay, we're on the hunt. We're looking. So we just kept walking. And the more people we found with gelato, we just kept going in that direction. And we found this really, really awesome gelato place. I had a mixture of a dulce de leche gelato and a chocolate gelato. Now the chocolate was very unusual because it was almost like a bittersweet chocolate. It was not cloyingly sweet, and it just mixed with the dulce de leche. So, so good, so rich, absolutely wonderful. I mean, I know it's hard to screw up gelato, but damn, it was good. Okay, Sitges, you don't play with the late nights, and this is fun. And the rest of the night, we hit the bars, and we started there and went to a few more places. You don't need to see that, but it was super, super fun, and we got back super, super late. Awesome start to our time in Sitges. Okay, before I even start yammering on, let's just take a moment and appreciate this view. Come on now. Come on, so good. Really incredible, right? I mentioned when we first got here that the weather was giving heavy Florida vibes. That is still the case. At home, laying in bed on a rainy day would be my actual definition of hell. But on vacation, it's not so bad. The rain in Spain falls mainly on Spaniards. The weather has completely bounced back. It is now gorgeous again, and we are on our way to a meet and greet party for other guys that are going on the cruise that we're going on tomorrow. Tomorrow. Oh, please stop. I'll tell you one thing. In these streets, you're gonna get that calf workout. Some rough terrain. Just finished up our dinner. It was quite an adventure finding a place to eat. The first two or three places that we went to wouldn't take us without a reservation. And, you know, these things, they happen. We really were hoping for sushi, but we did not wind up with sushi. Instead, we went to this restaurant called Yamuna. And it's out here on the beach, and it's really lovely. And Dave wanted paella, and I don't like paella because shellfish. But he said it was pretty standard. He had better paella, but I'm glad he at least got a chance to have it while we were here. I had a breaded chicken with some salad and and some French fries, and it was pretty standard. It needed a sauce, and it was really hard to cut with a butter knife. But the standout was our salad that we got. It had smoked salmon with mango and tomatoes and strawberries and a balsamic vinaigrette, and it was delicious. It was so good. It was absolutely the highlight of the meal. And speaking of highlighted meals, I have got to show you the spread that they do at our hotel for the breakfast. Look at this. Absolutely incredible. And the best part of it is you can make your plate, and of course you go right outside to where the ocean is, so you can have your breakfast and also enjoy this incredible view. I mean, what more could you ask for? My God, so awesome. I'm international. So the final wrap up on Sitges. This is just an insanely beautiful place. I love the juxtaposition of like the gorgeous new hotels and restaurants up next to 500-year-old churches. It's so beautiful. And the people are just so warm and welcoming and so nice. The weather is absolutely beautiful, but the vibes are immaculate. It is just such a laid-back, chill, safe place. I never felt unsafe here, and it was just absolutely stunning. And I also, there are a couple of things coming to Europe that I didn't realize. I figured there'd be smokers. I didn't realize how many people smoke here. Like, it's crazy. You just don't see that in America, especially in California where I live. And I was delighted by how many dogs are around this city. Just every corner you turn and there is just some happy puppy coming on down the street, and they're all just so cute. Equally delighted by the amount of gorgeous men here. Damn. Whew. And women, let's be fair. And yeah, just, it's so good. And it has just been such a magical time. And the trip hasn't even started yet, because tonight we're boarding the ship. So I am super excited, and Sitges has been marvelous, and I cannot wait to come back. Big mirror, hello. There's a little octopus. I don't know what's going on with that. Very swankified. Look at that. All right. We gotta see what's going on outside though. Each of the balcony rooms comes with a hammock. Okay, let's see here. All right. Okay, that's all right. Yep. Okay. This is
so comfortable.
So comfortable.
Now you said you're supposed to lay in it. I want to see you lay in this thing. I don't think you're supposed to lay in it.
I think you're right.
I think it's a sitting
I think
swing.
so too. And I think even if it's not, it is. So once we were all settled in, the first thing we decided to do was explore the boat. And what you're going to do more than anything else on a cruise ship is eat. The food is everywhere, it is constantly available, and people constantly give it to you, so you can't stop. There was enough time to get up to the top deck and take one last look at Barcelona. It would have been really nice to see this city, but alas, Dallas and whatnot. Soon it was time to depart, and our cruise director Ben Cameron gave the kickoff to everyone to celebrate, and we started with a champagne toast to commemorate the cruise. This would be one of about 1 million opportunities in the next 10 days to consume copious amounts of alcohol. So, one of the cool things about this room is everything is controlled by a little iPad here. So let's see what these controls actually do. I'm interested. This is Hangover. All right. Oh, the curtains are closing, so you can sleep during your hangover with your soft purple light above the bed. That's nice. Let's see what we got here. Get it on. I wonder what they mean by that. Baby, I'm hot just like an oven. Mm-hmm. Get your R&B on. Your grown folks fun. All right, let's see what's going on here. Photo shoot. All right, photo shoot. Oh, we love bright. We love natural light. Okay. All right, Richard Branson. I see what you're doing here. That's cool. All right, now we've got Zen. We've got Zen. Let's see what Zen looks like. Okay, oh, we're back in the dark. We're back in the dark, and now we are enjoying a soft blue light above the bed. This is your Zen, everybody. That is really cool. All right, first dinner aboard the Scarlet Lady is in the books. Now, Virgin American cruises do things a little bit differently. There's no buffet. What there are a series of restaurants that you can either make reservations for or just walk into, and it's all included. So in other words, you literally just show up, eat, and leave. It's all included with the price of the ticket, which is really amazing. I think the only thing I paid for was my latte at the end of the meal, and even that was just a little blip of the bracelet. So super dangerous, but also super convenient. The staff here is also amazing. They are just hand and foot. They are on the spot like that. I never saw the bottom of my water glass. Really, really awesome. The first restaurant we went to was called Pink Agave, and it's a Mexican place. And they had a number of small plates, medium plates, and full dishes. Some of the highlights of what I had include the esquite, which I absolutely love. I also had this incredible pork dish that was just fork tender, and there was a acidic note to it with radish, and I love radishes. And it was so tasty and good. I also really enjoyed their stuffed chili relleno. It had masa and potatoes in it, and it was just so spicy and so good and so hearty, and I absolutely loved it. The dessert was also bomb. I was really thinking we were going to go elsewhere for dessert, but we tried 2 of their desserts, and the one I had was the tacos de chocolat, and it was basically like a chocolate taco shell with chocolate mousse and a white chocolate peanut butter cream on the outside, and it was incredible. I felt so bad I could not share it with my gluten-free partner. Not bad enough to not eat it, but it still. The shrimp dish was also great, and a good guacamole. It had pomegranate seeds in it. So overall, this is an impressive first showing for our first night at sea, so I'm very excited to try the rest of the restaurants. But right now, we're gonna go check out our first show of the cruise. We are going to the Red Room to check out Le Voir. We are back. There we go. That's better. We are back. Just got back from the Red Room watching Le Voir, who I had never heard of before tonight. The only thing I knew was I think she was a winner of Drag Race UK. So I didn't know anything about her, and the show was so funny. Her crowd work was so good. Very British. Absolutely loved her humor. Music was a big part of her act, and she also did great impressions. She did a number as Shirley Bassey that had me on the floor. Really great show. Absolutely loved it. That was a good one. And now we are headed up to the welcome party. It starts at 11:30 because Spain. A little bit of dance floor etiquette. I'm feeling like the unspoken rule is you can have a loud clackety fan or a sense of rhythm. Pick one, because you can't have both. At least that has been my experience on the dance floor. It's like if you have rhythm, you don't have an accessory, and if you've been gifted one of those fans, you have no rhythm, and you're going to make it the problem of everyone around you. And thus began our first night, a tradition that lasted the entire trip, and that is snacking on anything and everything in the galley until the wee hours of the morning, and it was time for bed. It's only day one, and we're just getting started, and I can tell you, this doesn't suck. And now, something I've never had the opportunity in life to ever say, ever. I woke up in France. No, seriously, it's right there. That's France. That's France, and I'm there, in France. So we're gonna go to France, which is right there. But first, breakfast. We just had breakfast at the Wake. I was not feeling a lot of their menu options. There wasn't a lot on there for us, but I'm actually really happy with what I had. I started with some, thank you. I started with some poached shrimp with a horseradish sauce, which basically churched up shrimp cocktail, but it was really good. And the main thing that I had for breakfast was the steak and eggs. I only eat eggs scrambled, and one thing I've noticed about the times that I've had scrambled eggs, both in Spain and here on the ship, is they do them a little wetter than you find them in the States. And there's been a lot of discourse on whether or not like the wet way to make them is the right way, but I enjoyed it. And there was also some Swiss char on there, which I liked. There were some baked goods that they were offering up, and I know it's almost blasphemous to have like a French baked good on the ship when France is, again, right there. But I tried the pain au chocolat, which was just okay, but the French cruller was lovely. I was very, very happy with that. So yeah, overall, great cup of coffee. The music leaned classic soul with a lot of tracks by Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings, which is like a fast pass to my good side. So yeah, I'm happy with our breakfast experience. And now we're getting ready to go to France! We just got back from Marseille, and Lord, are we sweaty. We are moister than any two men should be. And right now, I see a frozen drink and a dip in the pool in our future, and a nap. And then once that is all over, I will tell you the lovely tale of our time in Marseille. So France is in the books. We went to a little town called Marseille, which is one of the oldest towns in the country of France, and they value their independence a lot. So if you ask a person from Marseille, they're like, "Are you French?" They'll say, "No, I'm Marseille." So they really don't consider themselves to be part of the rest of France, and they hate Parisians, but that is mostly due to the fact that they have a soccer rivalry with Paris, and I guess they work that out once a year in their stadiums, our guide told us. And I can now say that I have heard the expression, "Football isn't a sport here, it's religion," in both Alabama and Marseille, France. Our tour guide actually said those words, and I could not stop laughing. Our tour was actually called Flavors of Marseille, so I think we were kind of expecting to have a little bit more food than we actually did because, you know, American. But it was really nice. Where we were in Marseille is filthy. And I don't mean that as a bad thing. I would just mean like it's old. There are like churches and buildings there that were from like 600 BC. So this is an incredibly old city. And I could not, like I almost lost the tour group multiple times because I could not stop taking pictures of all the doors and the old buildings and the window treatments, and there's art and graffiti everywhere. There's so much of it, and it was just so cool to see. The streets are very small and uneven. You know, sometimes it smells because there's garbage and stuff like that, but overall, it just had an incredible amount of character. It was also hot. Really, really, really hot. I did not find the people of Marseille to be unkind or rude. I just found them to be terminally unamused. And, you know, and that's okay. You know, they didn't do the American pleasantries. And both Dave and I and our friends, we kind of couldn't stop talking to these people in Spanish, even though, because we had just come from Spain. And I literally took high school French for 4 years. So I know very, very little. I was correctly able to say bless you to our tour guide when she sneezed. The first place we went was this little cafe where we were given a complimentary drink. We ordered some Orangina, which I have to say, poured over ice, was like magical on a day so hot. And we ordered some pommes frites. And I say that instead of a plate of French fries, because that would make us sound like uncultured American swine. But we got some French fries and absolutely loved them. I thought the shape of the cut of the fry was really interesting. These were also some of the most yellow French fries I've ever had. I mean, they weren't earth-shattering, but they were definitely good. Our next, and it was as it would turn out, last stop on the tour, was a chocolatier in town that makes all of their chocolate in the building. They have their factory upstairs, which I thought was a little weird because I couldn't smell chocolate when we walked in the building. Like, you can't, I would have assumed that in a chocolate making factory, you would just get a waft of chocolate scent as soon as you walk in, but that didn't happen. They make every single one of their chocolates using olive oil, and they do a variety of different chocolates, so they laid out a tasting plate for us. One of the first things they let us taste was olive paste. Now, I hate olives. I always have, but I decided I'm in France. I'm probably not going to be here again for a really long time. I'm probably never going to have the opportunity to taste this again, so all right, you know what, olive paste, let's do this. So I tried it, and I have to say, it was gross and I didn't like it because I don't like olives, but it was all right. We moved on to another a series of chocolates. Oh my God. I'm gonna post that.
You should.
We moved on to chocolates, and they make their chocolates in the cutest way to look like olive leaves because they make olive oil with all of their chocolates. And we tried two varieties. The first was a green olive leaf that was actually made with orange and spirulina, which gave it the green color, and it was a really unique flavor, and I really, really enjoyed it. You couldn't really pick up the olive oil in it, but there was definitely a smoothness and a creaminess to it. The best chocolate we had for me was the dark chocolate olive leaf. It was just filled with a ganache that was so creamy and so good. I'm a milk chocolate guy, not much of a dark chocolate guy, but these were heavenly. I could kill a whole box of them. I was so impressed. We also had a number of nougats and a little cookie that were lovely. The nougat is made with candied olives, and I didn't taste any of that at all. I just caught the sweet note from the honey and the nougat on it, but it was very tasty. There was also a milk chocolate praline that was absolutely delicious. It was a very close second place to the dark chocolate leaf. And finally, what was on our plate was, I thought, was a fresh green olive that I was fully prepared to eat on camera for you. Yeah, it was a chocolate covered almond made to look like an olive, so it was pretty tasty. The other highlight was the drink they offered at us. It was an iced chocolate drink, but it literally tasted like a liquid chocolate bar. It was so smooth and creamy and surprisingly refreshing on a day like today, and it was just absolutely delicious. It was really, really awesome. I was super impressed with this place. Bury me in this. And if I was convinced it would make it home through the heat and the wear from travel, I would have totally bought some chocolate and taken it home with me, but probably not going to happen. So overall, I would say we had a really great experience in Marseille. I don't know that it was exactly what we thought we were going to get, but it was definitely something I'm glad I did. I definitely will remember things like the military parade going on because it's Bastille Day, and you see these tanks coming through by these old churches, and some fireworks were going off while we were eating, and the people, and just the very, very cool look of it all, and I'm sure that will stay with me for a long time, and I'm very glad we went. After a rest from the day, we competed in pop music trivia down on the Lido deck. We came in second place, but the real hit of the day was trying the cake pops that were available from that bakery, which was a whole bar of cake. Very good. And of course, right after you have your cake pop, you gotta go get your ice cream because, of course, did I mention that at no point during the cruise do you ever stop eating? Like, ever? It's just kind of what you do. Tonight's dinner was a place I had been wanting to try. It was called Gunbae, which is the Korean barbecue spot on the ship. And Gunbae in Korean means cheers, and we would find out later why that was very important. We went in there without a reservation, and sometimes what they'll do is if you don't have a reservation, they'll seat your party at a communal table with other people who don't have a reservation. And if you know anything about me and people, you know I don't like them, so I'm not a big fan of talking to strangers, but I felt this was a small price to pay to get to experience the restaurant that we really wanted to go to, so we did. And I was really glad we made that choice. Dave and I were sat next to 6 other people. We made friends with a really cool couple from LA and 4 very entertaining gentlemen from Lebanon. Our server Fafa from Zimbabwe was really great. She was very funny and very knowledgeable, and she was really helpful, especially with 4 Lebanese guys who had really no idea what Korean barbecue was, and 2 guys from LA who had a lot of experience with Korean barbecue. She was able to help everybody in between. And she also played a drinking game with us with soju, which was really, really fun, and I'm very glad I had the experience. The food was great. They offered kimbap as an appetizer, which I really, really love. Thank you, Trader Joe's. And we also had some bulgogi, and some shrimp, and just some really good stuff. And the best part about this whole thing, the only thing I don't like about Korean barbecue is I don't like cooking the food. They don't even make you do it. They cook it for you while they stand at the table. It was really, really awesome, and I enjoyed that. And, you know, then it was off to meet our friend George to take in a show. Just watched Leona Winter perform. This is another performer that I had literally never heard of before. And she was an international French drag queen who competed on the French version of The Voice and was on Drag Stars of the World.
Queen of the Universe.
Queen of the Universe is of course what I meant.
Drag Stars of the World!
Anyway, she was an excellent, excellent singer. I was so impressed. And she spoke multiple languages, which was also super cool. But I have to say the thing that was most impressive was she sang the operatic soprano part from Carmen. And I will remind you again, this is a dude doing this. Super, super impressive. Really great show. Right now, it is time to get ready for the next and the first theme party. So the first theme party of the cruise is right now, and the theme is revolutionary, and this was the best I could do. This was it. This is it. Yeah. And that is a wrap on day 2 of this cruise. Tomorrow is a day at sea, so I think I'm going to show you around the ship and give you a peek at my home away from home for the week. We had brunch this morning at Lucky Lotus at Razzle Dazzle, which is one of the places here on the ship, and it's a clear Asian influence from a lot of the menu, and a lot of stuff really looked good, even though they didn't have a lot of options for Dave. And I would have to say I'm about 50-50 on my brunch experience. I enjoyed half of what I had. First, we started with a chocolate chip scone, which was so dry they could have renamed it Choke Me Daddy. And the cup of coffee was doing its best to get me through it, but that was just not it. The second thing I started with was one of their appetizers, which is the avo toast, which is, of course, avocado toast. And it was a sliced avocado with some watermelon radish and sriracha on it, on top of the toughest piece of bread I have ever attempted to get through in my life. When I tell you this piece of bread fought back, I couldn't even cut it. Like, it was bad, which made all of the avocado fall off of it. And, you know, it was a clumsy eating experience and just kind of okay. My main dish for brunch was an acai bowl, because it's really hard to screw that up. And I have to say, they got it exactly right. There was coconut, some berries, some golden raisins in there. Very yummy stuff. I love me an acai bowl. Also, please ignore the annoying red light above us that made everything look like we were eating in a brothel. Dave had the salmon bowl, which was served with a poached egg and some other veggies and stuff, and he actually said it was really, really good. So that's a positive point. And we finished up with a piece of the Razzle Dazzle cake, which I had not planned on eating, but it just looked so damn good when it went by us, I couldn't help it. It's a hazelnut cake that has a really thick chocolate ganache in the center and some marshmallow cream on top. Absolutely delicious, very difficult for one person to get through, but as the only non-gluten-free person in my relationship, I had to shoulder the load on my own and do what I could. These are the sacrifices we make. After brunch, we took a quick detour to the casino so Dave could play some video poker, which he loves doing. I'm waiting for him to win me a fortune. He's working on it. All right, dog tag / camo party is on deck. This is the fit. And yeah, let's go have some fun. Sometimes I think it might be worth never enjoying food again to look like some of these guys, and then that buffet be like, how you doing? One of the coolest things about being on a cruise and being at sea is that the regular rules of time and space just fly right out the window. And it's like, there's no rules. There's no rules to anything. You're going to have 18 meals a day at God knows what time, and they all come with dessert. And, you know, you can be up on the pool deck, dancing in military gear and enjoying a cocktail or 5. And the next thing you know, you're feeling a little peckish before dinner. So what do you get? Of course, you get a bento box and a cup of coffee and a donut. Because of course you do. And for the record, the coffee was standard, the bento box was terrible, and the donut was legit. We are approaching land of some kind. That might be Ibiza, it might not be. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Dinner tonight was at Test Kitchen. It's a place on the ship that is very reminiscent of the kind of Wiley Dufresne-led molecular gastronomy craze of like 20 years ago in New York. Very much of that variety. And the whole place is actually set up looking very sterile and pristine and kind of like a lab. And that's kind of how they present your meal. It is a set menu, so you can choose between 2 set menus. And there are also cocktails that go along with your meal that you can choose from. The best thing I had was my cocktail. It was called the Pear, and it was 10-to-1 dark rum, pear liqueur, lime, and chocolate bitters. It was so sweet and delicious. It tasted like pear juice because there was also some pear cider in it, but it was just absolutely tremendous. I really, really loved it. The start of my meal was a savory panna cotta, which was made with soy, and we had pieces of eggplant all around there, and there's a companion piece to this which Dave actually had that uses eel, and I don't like eel, so I got the vegetarian option. And I was so impressed with how they managed to cook this eggplant to make it really like dense and chewy and really, really good. And there was a flour on top that was actually made of nori. The whole thing was really, really good. I have never had a savory panna cotta before, but it was pretty delicious. The second phase of the meal were some vegetables. They were steam cooked in paper, and there was zucchini and squash in there with some garlic, and it was just really simple and really delicious. Very well cooked. The vegetables were fork tender, but they weren't soggy. The flavor was really, really good. And these are small plates, so you could actually eat a lot more servings, and I think that is by design, but I could have easily polished off a whole plate of these vegetables. Now, this is where it gets a little weird. Because Dave is gluten-free, he does not have celiac, but he is gluten-free. So they offered to bring a gluten-free alternative to the third course. But what came down between us, in between there, was a plate that had 2 rolls on it. We assumed, because nothing was said to us, that one of them would be gluten-free, the one facing him, and the one facing me would be the regular one. And we both started eating it, and it wasn't long until we picked up on the fact that we were both eating the same thing, and it was very much like a Queen-Ama style roll. It was bread. We never really got a clear answer on that, so it was kind of a disaster, but they managed to get it away from Dave, and I ate the rest of his roll because hero. The next course was a cheese tart that was served in a tart shell, and it was a mixture of blue cheese and chev. and it was actually really, really good. It was, it had goju berries on top for just a little bit of sweetness. The dish was good. I would have preferred that it was like a smaller hors d'oeuvre size, because after a while it started to get really salty and it was kind of overpowering, and I don't know that it was successful as a full-size tart. My main course was a potato gnocchi with butternut squash. And there was a squash puree in it as well. And while I will say the squash was really well cooked and very flavorful, the gnocchi for me was not quite it. There was kind of a buckwheat in it, and I could tell that it had sat out probably a little bit longer under the lights than they intended it to. It was very chewy, a little bland, a little pasty, and it just kind of needed a sauce. It was not a very successful thing. Dave's main course, on the other hand, was delicious. It was called A Study in Chicken, and it was 3 different cuts of different parts of the chicken laid out with a chicken jus and some asparagus and mushrooms, and it was really, 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 really good, and he liked it as well. Now for the dessert, Dave's option was a yuzu meringue that was served on 2 cookies, and he asked them to please bring it and give it to me because I love yuzu and he would just skip dessert. But I guess because of the bread snafu from earlier, they felt bad and decided to make it right, and they brought him a gluten-free tartlet that had the meringue and the yuzu in it, and he said it was delicious. He absolutely loved it, and I tried it. It was very, very good. My dessert was a coconut sorbet served with some berries and some cocoa crumble, and it was really, really delicious. Very, very good. I don't know that we will be rushing to get back to this place unless it's for a cocktail, because that pair, again, wow. But overall, I am definitely much more a fan of the choose your own adventure rather than the set menu. And the open seating concept of the place, while it looked really cool, it made our server almost impossible to hear. And it was really hard to have a conversation, and we weren't really able to talk to anybody because we were kind of off to the side. But it was, you know, a very pretty place, and it was a cool experience. I'm glad we did it, but I don't know that I would rank it as my favorite. And now it's time to head off into Ibiza, or Ibiza as the locals call it. People keep telling me to call it Ibiza. I'm like, guys, we're not going to fool anybody. They're going to know I'm not local. That's fine. So I just stopped into a little shop here in Ibiza, and I just bought my shirt for the black and white ball. I'm very, very excited. So while there are some similarities to Sitges, it's a very different vibe here in Ibiza. It's a much younger crowd. It is much more kind of cityfied, less laid back. There's lots to do. This is like such a touristy part of the square. And we had a good time at the bar. It was a little strange though, because the culture is very different here than what we're used to at home. At home, you kind of get your drink and you go and you socialize and you talk to people. Here, we were sat at a table, and it was just the 2 of us, and they served us drinks, we paid for them, and that was that. Nobody was up and socializing to any degree, so that was something very different. Although I will say the drinks were very good. Dave has his usual vodka soda, and I had sex on the beach. The kind that doesn't get sand in all crevices. Very delicious drink. And yeah, and then we picked up some ice cream and gelato at this beautiful little shop that had a bunch of flavors I could not pronounce and did not know what they were. But when I saw menta con chocolate, I know what that is. Very, very good. So here's hoping we finish our ice cream and get back to the ship soon. Also, you want to talk change in culture. When's the last time you saw Burger King open at 12:45 in the morning in the United States? You did not, folks. Only in Ibiza. Oh, look what they did to the side of the boat. Yay! And then late night Chinese food and French fries. Because again, lawless wasteland of culinary delights. Good morning, or should I say afternoon. I know I mentioned that we would be heading into Ibiza today for our official excursion, but last night an executive decision was made between the two of us that we saw everything there was to see and we'd rather sleep, so that's what we did. And now we're up and we're going to head up to the galley just to get some breakfast and have a chill day. Keeping it simple for breakfast this morning with a ham and cheese omelet, some nice looking hash browns, some perfectly done bacon. But the real winner here is we got our pink donut, and this is a dulce de leche brioche, which I'm very excited about. Before the wrap up, hey look, it's the ocean! So we just got back from my very first time seeing Bianca Del Rio perform. I was unfamiliar with her act outside of some clips on TikTok, but I kind of knew what I was in for, and that's pretty much what I expected. But she is definitely proof that racism is still funny. Well, you know, her act is very inappropriate and offensive and that kind of stuff, and that's her shtick. But actually, you know, aside from being like super shouty, I found her to be an incredibly skilled comic. Like, she's very quick. Her tie-ins were great. Her crowd work was great. Very quick on her feet. Very quick with the walkbacks, and I really enjoyed that.
And you've got these politicians saying drag queens are trying to groom the children. Bitch, if we were grooming your children, they would be dressed better. Now listen.
Actually, she reminded me a lot in her style of comedy. You could tell she is definitely one of the heir apparents to Joan Rivers. That's what a lot of her act reminded me of, although I'm still convinced Joan at 88 could have smoked her on stage, but she was very funny, and I definitely enjoyed it. And now we've got dinner at Razzle Dazzle, and tonight is the Summer Sizzle Party. I have an outfit. It's summery. I don't know about the sizzle, but we're gonna do what we can do. Now, you may remember yesterday we had breakfast at a restaurant called Razzle Dazzle, and I wasn't quite feeling it. It really wasn't quite it for me, but the same restaurant takes on a different name for dinner, and it's called Lucky Lotus, and it's an Asian-inspired menu, and that is where we had dinner tonight. And I have to say, it is like a tenfold improvement over the breakfast that I had. I absolutely loved it, and it has now bumped Pink Agave to second place of the best places I've eaten on this ship. Lucky Lotus has moved into the top spot. I started with a Peking duck bao bun, which was absolutely delicious, really well cooked, and the bao bun was a nice ratio to the protein, because ordinarily you have like a really thick bao bun and just a little bit of protein, but this was a nice balance. I really enjoyed it. Dave had some sriracha sticky ribs, which he gave me a taste of, and were absolutely delicious. My main dish for the night was a Szechuan hot and sour noodle, and it was a really delicious soup. It had peanuts and cilantro and that kind of tongue-tingling kind of spiciness to it, and it had a lot of flavors going on and just really nutty and crispy, and the noodles were tender and really good, and I absolutely loved it. I wanted a spoon for what was left of the broth, so really strong showing from Lucky Lotus. Really good. I absolutely loved it. I will never get used to this concept of just eat your food and leave the restaurant without paying. I really hope I shake that before we wind up back on land, because that could get awkward. Tonight's theme is Summer Sizzle Party. So gay. So this is the fit. Summer Sizzle. Keeping it simple, because it's really hot. And that is a wrap on day 4 of the cruise. I had a thought earlier. It is absolutely wild to me that 1 year ago, just 1 year ago, I had never been on a cruise. And now I'm on my second one. What even is my life? I didn't take any footage because I didn't have my phone with me of the bear meetup in the Loose Cannon bar, which was nice, and the Summer Sizzle Party that we went to. I showed you the outfit for earlier, and I could have found a way to bring my phone. I didn't have any pockets, but even if I did, it would just be footage very similar to what you have seen of all the other parties, and that's pretty much the vibe of these whole cruises. Now, I want to be as transparent as possible and let you know that, like, even though a lot of these parties start at 11 at night and go till about 4 in the morning, we're not there for that entire time. Like, this is really a marathon, not a sprint. You have to pace yourself. Generally, for each of these parties, what we'll do is we'll roll in and, you know, do a tour of the dance floor, make a couple of rounds, see some friends, have a couple of cocktails, get to higher ground, enjoy the music, dance to a couple of songs, and then go to the galley and have late night food and go to bed. So all told, we're at these things for about 90 minutes a pop. You know, it's just long enough to get in there, poke your head around, see what you're missing, get the vibe, enjoy the music, but we're not partying until 4 a.m. every single night. And we absolutely have the option to do that. And there are many people that do, but you know, you gotta, like, my body's just not built for that. It's just not. So, but it's a lot of fun to just kind of go in there and see what's going on, have a good time for a little while. Like I said, see some friends, have some food in the galley, and go to bed. And tomorrow is a day at sea before we end up in our next port. And I think tomorrow is the day that I'm going to take you around the ship and really give you a detailed view of what exactly the layout of our home away from home is. And it's so huge and so impressive and just so cool. And I'm going to share it all with you tomorrow. But for now, it's time for bed. So yeah, we'll see you then.
Going down.
The elevators are really cool, even if there's just way too many mirrors.
That's it.
Thank you.
Going up.
I'm here, I may as well get a coffee, right? This is really cool. I gotta actually show you this. This is the vinyl room. They're big on music because obviously Virgin, but they've got actual vinyl in here. How cool is that? No Prince or Madonna, but I'm willing to forgive it. And we've got little listening stations. How cool is that? Yeah, need that set up in my home. pool looks like during the day. I don't question or judge anyone's lifestyle choice, except for these people who are working out. Like, they know they don't have to, right? Any couples on the ship have some issues that they need to work out, we have the ring ready to go. So cool up here, but I'm not staying up here all day because I'm gonna lose this hat because it's very windy. But yeah, pretty cool, huh? And that is just a small piece of the scope of this ship. It's really incredible. It's so beautiful and so modern, and just such a cool place to be at sea for 10 days. You know, it's like there's so much, and I really only showed you a small bit of it, but there's so much more. And yeah, it's been fun exploring, and thanks for coming along for the ride. I know I'm hitting y'all with a crap ton of food, but I need to single out this cinnamon roll because it's amazing and I'm still thinking about it. Then we were off to Bingo with the Diva, filled in by guest host, Scottish drag queen Mary Mack.
Just because I get ostrich dinner on a Thursday doesn't mean I won't fuck you on a Friday, okay? I mean, not you, obviously. Got my contact lenses in.
Alright, now I think they might want to know how much money we're going to play for. And round number one, do you want to know?
Well, we didn't win at bingo, but it was very fun watching a cute little straight guy and a Scottish drag queen trade banter during the game. It was very entertaining, and we got cookies, so there's that. So now back up to the room for a nap before the pink party. Did I say nap? I meant boozy float. All set for the pink party. Check out the socks. And of course, you know, boy who ate. So, yeah. answer the burning question, how many times can you hear Pink Pony Club and Abracadabra? Which, as it would turn out, is quite a few. We were a hit. The boy drama always finds you at the party.
Bring the boy drama.
All right, we are back from dinner, and tonight was a complicated one. It started strong and ended strong, but the middle, not so much. We went to the Wake, which we'd actually gone to a couple of days ago for brunch, and I was just okay with the brunch there, but we decided to try it for dinner, and we're actually going there again tomorrow night with a couple that we made friends with on board, so I think we may order a little differently, but here's how tonight went. They started us with a bread course that was a brioche, almost like a pull-apart monkey bread with an herbed compound butter, and it was delicious, and even if Dave could eat it, I'm pretty sure I'd have fought him for the whole thing anyway, and it was absolutely delicious, so good. For the first course, I started with the hamachi crudo, which was delicious and so refreshing. It was a beautiful cut of fish. There was just a nice citrus to it. It was really nice. And right there is kind of where it all falls apart for me. Dave ordered the crispy polenta, which is a main dish, for his appetizer, and he gave me some of it, and it was absolutely delicious. It had this great crema on it with spinach. Really good. That is probably going to be my main dish tomorrow night, so I was really looking forward to what was coming next, and I ordered the shrimp and grits, and this was a mistake. There were a few problems with this. It's prepared in a tiny little bowl, and for that reason, they wind up using much smaller shrimp, like almost bay shrimp, and those cook really fast, and they overcook really easily. Because the vessel was so small, it was overcooked, so the grits literally stuck and crusted to the side of the bowl, and the interior of them were almost like clumpy and spongy because they were so overcooked, and there were bits of andouille sausage in there which tasted like beef jerky. Like, the whole thing was just really overcooked. The spice was good, the flavor was good, but this was just not it for me. Now, Dave did say to me, you know, you're on a cruise ship, 2 bites in, you can say, hey, this isn't working for me, can you bring me something else? To which I say, you must be new here. That's just not how I do things, but I also don't like wasting food, and it's just not in my nature to complain or send stuff back, and that's a me problem, I get it, but I am going to chalk it up to just bad preparation, because I don't think the dish itself was bad. I think it was just overcooked. And for a side dish, I ordered a twice-baked potato, and I also love the fact that they are so determined to get guests on this ship to do as little work as possible. They actually cut up the baked potato for you already, and it just comes out to you. So it just kind of looks like complicated potato wedges. But again, the potato was really dry, and the cheese was kind of plasticky and melted, and it just was not it for me. But I will say we finished strong with the desserts. I got the Meyer lemon cheesecake, which is adorable. It was so cute. It's like a little ball of cheesecake in the shape of a lemon with like a little coated candy lemon coating on it, which was really nice. Great flavor, some berries on the side, and there were little bits of graham cracker, so it's kind of like almost a deconstructed cheesecake, but it was really lovely. I really enjoyed it, and a damn fine cup of coffee. And Dave had the dessert called the Wake, which is a shortbread cup filled with dark chocolate mousse and candied hazelnuts on it, and that was also really good. So, started strong, ended strong, not my favorite. But, you know, these things happen. This is why we try every restaurant on board. Now, for the rest of the night, we got a little time to chill before we head down to the Red Room again, because we are seeing Tony-nominated Broadway star, who we actually saw on the last Atlantis cruise, and she was phenomenal. Amber Amon, cannot wait. I was very excited about tonight's entertainment in the Red Room. Amber Amon, and I was not disappointed. We saw her on the last Atlantis cruise, and she was actually phenomenal, and even better tonight. It was a much bigger crowd that she played to, and it was so great to see her pack that house. It was standing room only, and she tore the damn roof off the place. She added a new song to the set. She did Chapel Roan's Pink Pony Club, and it was amazing. She also did her incredible Nina Simone number. Like, she is so good with Nina Simone.
Now if you want me to cook and sew. You want me to cook and sew. Outside of me, there's no place to go.
One of the songs that she did, that she also did last time, which worked so well, was she did Beyonce's Love on Top, which, as she said before she even started the song, I'm singing this because y'all are gay. And it absolutely tore the roof off. The place went crazy. It was awesome. What a great show. She's just so funny and so talented and has such an incredible range to her sound. She's really able to do like the Anita Baker, very lush, very quiet. And she can also do the Screamin' Diva, you know, belt to the roof. She's just really wonderful. And if you ever get the chance to see her, you should absolutely do that. This will be actually the earliest we have gone to bed since we've gotten on the ship, because tomorrow we dock in Malaga, Spain. So I'm pretty excited about what that's gonna hold, and I'm gonna be seeing real live Picassos up close, and I'm pretty jazzed about it. So yeah, time to get some sleep, and see you tomorrow. Good morning, Malaga, Spain. What's up, other boat? Boats. Take a look here. Wow. Okay. All right. Ready to go exploring? Okay, Malaga. Good morning. Wow. It's quite a postcard to walk into when you first get here. I feel so tiny here because the buildings are just huge. Look at that. Just huge buildings. I don't mean nobody no harm, but I'm just gonna say, these Spanish men, don't leave me here. Somebody gonna get pregnant, because damn. We had some time to kill before the museum, so we stopped by at a cafe next door to get us a drink. They had some interesting things on the menu, like the sexy omelet and the egg porn, and also the unexplainably horny water that they serve. What are you doing, Malaga? I wanted a cold brew, and I got one, and it was pretty standard. I'm sad to say that paper straws have infected every area of the world. Dave wanted a lemonade, but all they had was a matcha lemonade, which he didn't much care for, but there looked like something at the bottom of that glass that might be of concern. Yep, that's strawberries. Dave's allergic, so he had to send it back. He then ordered a vanilla milkshake, and I'm not gonna lie, this is the greatest milkshake I've ever tasted in my life. It had cinnamon and cardamom on it, and it was incredible. I mean, look at the vanilla flecks in there. Look at it! It was amazing! I can't stop thinking about it. Anyway, it was time to go to the Picasso Museum, and I was really excited. It is absolutely beautiful and quaint and just so cool. And the site of more cultural differences for me. One of the things I have noticed here is they're not big on personal space. I had to get up from the bench because someone's child was touching me and just, incredible experience in the Picasso Museum. Picasso has never been my personal favorite. I mean, I love abstract and stuff like that, but this was really more about the cultural and historical significance. And it's like, when you have an opportunity to see the masters, you do not pass that up. So this is an incredibly exciting thing for me to get to see real life Picassos up close, and so cool. I absolutely will never forget this. Just got back from Malaga, getting ready to get back on the ship, and so beautiful, such a cool place, beautiful lush palm trees and all kinds of really cool old buildings in this little charming town, and absolutely loved it. It was a good time. I feel like we got a good lay of the land, and it was a lot of fun. We stopped at a few places and looked at some shops, and you know what? We listen and we don't judge. And of course the Picasso Museum, which was the highlight of the trip for this leg of it in Malaga. And yeah, big thumbs up. Really enjoyed it. And also really going to enjoy getting back in that pool because it's hot. One of the things that I was kind of unprepared for in cruising life, and I experienced this a lot last October too, was how easily the whole experience lends itself to talking to strangers and making new friends. And, you know, I'm not a fan of either if you know me in real life, but I'm happy to say that we have had some very chance run-ins with some really cool guys that we have gotten to know both before and during the cruise. And tonight we had dinner with two guys that we met a few nights ago and had a good time with. So we're like, hey, let's grab dinner again. So we did, and we met a few of their friends, and that's just kind of how it happens. And it's really cool. But tonight we tried the last restaurant that we had yet to experience on the ship, and it was called Extra Virgin. It is the Italian restaurant, which very cleverly named, like most things here. And they had an impressive menu, and I was really happy with what I got. I started my meal with a crispy artichoke that came with a garlic aioli, and it was just a really light fry, very flavorful, really good. Very much enjoyed it. Also, I want to give a shout out to our friend Drew, who ordered the beef carpaccio, and he let me try some of it, and that was absolutely lovely. Really enjoyed that. There was also a really nice charcuterie layout, which I'm not the biggest fan in the world of, but I was impressed with what I had. For my main dinner, I got the tortellini with corn and arugula, and it was so perfectly cooked, really tender. The corn was really fresh and crispy. The arugula was just really crisp and added this great pepperiness to it. It's just a really nice light dish. My only criticism of it, which I don't even know if you'd really call it a criticism, it just wasn't enough for dinner. It was just a very small plate of food. And I did wind up, of course, having a second dinner later on the ship with a spicy tonkatsu ramen at 1 o'clock in the morning, because best life only aboard the boat. But I have to say, the absolute pièce de résistance for Extra Virgin was the dessert service, which was prepared tableside. You got to choose some gelato and how it was prepared, and I put together a lovely little dessert. I got whiskey crema gelato with espresso, and I got a shot of Frangelico on it. And I chose biscotti you could put in there with some chocolate chips. And the whole thing was just so lovely. It was so fun. And I actually inspired a couple other guys at the table to make their own creations of gelato in a glass, and just a really great dessert and just a really cool evening. I really enjoyed eating at Extra Virgin. I would absolutely do it again. The theme for tonight's party is Lost at Sea. So me and my little buddy are ready. Fun will be had. The young people will be confused. The old people will be delighted. In perhaps the most meta twist ever, the theme of tonight's party is Lost at Sea, and the wind is out there doing the most right now. It is crazy windy out there. The party is not as widely populated as previous nights, but we're gonna stick it out for a few more minutes, mostly because it's just really fun to be out there with the wind going crazy, and, you know, Lost at Sea party dressed as Gilligan and the Skipper. You know.
Look at poor little Gilligan. The ship will be tossed. The tiny ship will be tossed. We only meant it as a joke.
There was a rather lengthy announcement from our cruise director, Ben, in regards to our stop tomorrow, which is Morocco and Casablanca. We are doing an excursion, and I have been feeling a kind of way about this part of the trip, and I'm actually going to talk about that with you because I think it's, you know, as the keeper of the reel, it's my job to kind of bring these things up. I did some research about some of the places that we were going to be visiting, and one of the things that stuck out to me about Morocco is it is illegal to be gay there. Homosexuality is against the law. And we have received several warnings from the ship that you are to dress conservatively, you really shouldn't make a spectacle of yourself, you don't want to do public displays of affection and stuff like that. And if you are a gay person of a certain age, it is certainly nothing new to move through the world not knowing where you are safe. But this is kind of on another level for anything I've experienced. Now, don't get me wrong. I keep to myself. I am straight passing. I don't plan on, you know, going too overboard. And we're touring a mosque and we are required to wear long pants because you can't show anything. You can't wear anything that shows your knees or your shoulders. So, you know, I had planned from the beginning to pack a respectful, really understated outfit and go on this tour. But the one thing that I absolutely was not going to do was just get off the boat and just kind of freestyle it and go into town. I'm absolutely not. I wanted something supervised with a tour guide where we're told where to go, what to go. We move en masse. Those were just things that I needed in order to feel safe to move about in this country where my existence is against the law. And like I said, I plan to enjoy it. I'm sure it's beautiful. They have made it clear at Atlantis that they would never take us anyplace where it wasn't safe for us. So I'm not really worried, but I will be honest and say that that part of it has never strayed far from my mind during this whole trip. So I'm looking forward to it tomorrow, and we'll see how that goes. We are back on the ship, freshly showered and done with our day in Casablanca. I have to say, in a sea of unforgettable days, this is one that definitely will stand out for sure. As I mentioned yesterday, I had some trepidation coming into this part of the trip because in the country of Morocco, it is illegal to be gay, and we have been given numerous warnings by the ship and people who work here to, you know, not really make a spectacle of yourself, and you have to, it's an extremely conservative country and follow their customs and their dress code and stuff like that. So I took it all very, very seriously. We were told to wear long pants in order to enter the mosque, and I did that. And it wasn't as hot as I thought it was going to be. The weather was actually quite nice. We got started with our tour guide, Ahmed, who took us into the city. It was a bus full of guys and me and Dave. And he was a great tour guide, and he was a very sweet man and kind of gave us the lowdown on the history of the country. And it was funny because he leaned really heavily in his description of Morocco and Marrakesh and Casablanca as, you know, we are Jews, we are Muslims, we are Christians, we all live together, we are happy, the women have more rights than the men, everyone is happy, we are so good, the king loves us, he does so many great things, everybody. And like, the more he kind of leaned into that, the more I was just like, okay. but you know, like I said, he knows far more about the country than I do, so for all I know, he could have been telling the truth and definitely not overcompensating for some kind of insanity that we may not know about.
Our tour guide walks very fast.
Our first stop was this incredible mosque. We went into it, and the first thing they had us do was take off our shoes because you can't wear shoes inside the mosque. It's unclean, and, you know, of course, they give you a little bag for your shoes, and take off your shoes, and you walk with your little shoe bag. I felt like a little kid walking around in sock feet, but, you know, it was fine. But this place was stunning. I mean, just the detail and the scope of it, it was just so huge. Like, you would literally lift your head to the ceiling and it felt like it just kept going and going and going. The halls were so tall, and just the incredible details of all of it. There was so much going on visually that it was just really stunning to look through. And we only had an hour in the mosque, and I'll tell you something about Ahmed. He had a nice little hustle on him, so he was kind of getting us through there almost too fast, I would say. But I kept stopping to take pictures and video of everything because it was just absolutely stunning. Now, I will say it was incredibly muggy in there. It was all marble floors, but there was no air conditioning. And, he went down to the bottom floor to show us like the wash stations and the showers. And yeah, there was a smell, but it's fine. It's fine. So we got a beautiful tour of the mosque. And one thing that I thought was really funny was that as our tour proceeded to move, there were other tours going on in the mosque. And there were these women that just kind of glommed onto our tour and started asking Ahmed a bunch of questions. And he was just trying to be so nice about it. But it was like they just kind of kept on. And when we were done and got back on the bus, Ahmed had said to all of us, he's like, I'm from Marrakesh. He's like, I wasn't going to tell these women, that they couldn't be with us or to go away. And all of the Americans chimed in like, we got you, homie. Yeah, rudest Americans. Yes. Now is the chance for the red, white, and blue to shine. We could have told her what's what. And I think many of us in our group would have. After the mosque was over, we went into Casablanca downtown to Rick's Cafe, which is part of the film Casablanca. And I guess the movie Casablanca was not filmed on location at the actual Rick's. That was a Hollywood set. Oddly enough, a Hollywood set that Dave and I got to visit some artifacts from back in January when we were up in LA. We actually got to see the piano and some of the other set pieces from that very famous Rick's Cafe set. But today we got to go to the real thing. And it was a 2-floor kind of restaurant and bar. And we were led into this room where we were given an open bar for an hour and treated to little hors d'oeuvres. And it was very nice and very quaint and very lovely. And I absolutely did not break one of the chairs that I was sitting in. I'm really glad for that, because could you imagine how embarrassed I would have been if in Casablanca I had broken one of the chairs at the famous Rick's Cafe with my big fat ass. So thank goodness I did not break that chair. Apologies to the guy who sat in it after me. I'm sorry if he broke the chair. It was a cool time. We didn't really get to eat a lot, but after that, we all kind of piled back onto the bus and we went into a further part of the town where all of the shops were. Now, this was probably closer to like the Morocco that you see in movies and TV. Like, it was a bunch of little different shops with all of these textiles and clothes and tchotchkes and tea sets, and all of it was beautiful. I mean, there was really nothing there that I wanted, but it was quite a very colorful, beautiful display of like local crafts. And there were also like this place where they had all of these olives, which is literally my idea of hell, but it was impressive nonetheless, because I don't like olives. But it was really cool to get to see that, and we had some time to kill, so we went over to this little cafe where we made friends with a couple of guys on the bus, and we had a couple of things to drink and eat. Dave had his Orangina again, which he was very happy about, and I ordered the chocolat chaud, which is, of course, hot chocolate. Bit of an unusual choice, but I figured, it tasted like Swiss Miss. We also got to share in some of the treats that were had at the table. There were some cookies and some pastries, and it was all very lovely. They don't really skew super sweet in their pastries over here in Morocco, but it was interesting to try. It was really cool. One of the other stops that we made on this tour was actually into a Catholic church. It's one of the few Catholic churches that the French had built in Casablanca, and we were able to go in, and it was just so dramatic and beautiful, with beautiful stained glass and just really, really, again, stunning architecture. It just seems to go on forever, and it was such an interesting thing to see. We also got to see the outside of the King's Palace, which is where His Majesty lives, and I guess tells people not to be gay. But the outside of it was very impressive, and there were men with very large guns standing outside, so we could not go in, and I'm okay with that. But I will say, I don't know. I was very excited to get back onto the ship because for the first time all day I exhaled. I wasn't afraid all day, but like I said, it never leaves your mind when you are walking through a stranger in a strange land and you're not sure you're safe. So it was always kind of in my head, and I was really, really happy when we got back on the boat, because home sweet home. And that was actually our last expedition. Hi, Dave. And that was our last offshore expedition before we end this cruise in Portugal, which I've also never been to, and I'm excited to report about that. So yeah, I was happy to be back on the boat, and this is an experience, like I said, I don't know that I'll be rushing to get back to Marrakesh anytime soon, but I'm really glad I had this experience. It was incredibly unique and very special and unforgettable. And tonight we're seeing Mary Mac, the drag queen, and it's white party. So we got our outfits ready, and tomorrow's a sea day, so it's gonna be a late night, I'll tell you that much.
Beckons you to enter his web of sin, but don't go in, go.
And then we stopped by the candy shop to pick up some candy, because after all, why would you not? They literally just hand it out to you. This is so dangerous. I mean, awesome, but dangerous. And then we went upstairs to eat our candy. Y'all, I have a feeling I'm gonna have a very hard time getting off this ship. You know? Just chilling here on the back of the boat, eating candy. 'Cause I can. It's a good life. All right, we are ready for white party. I think we're ready. Actually, no, I think I have the right angle. Hold on. Here we go. Don't look at how messy our room is. Yeah. White party. Let's do it. The white party was, as you may have guessed, more of the same. And props to these guys for wearing this outfit, but I'm glad I was on the second deck because I might have tried to eat them. It's our last sea day. The waters are choppy. The boat is a-moving. The macrame is a-rockin'. And God, look at the, I want to see if I can get a better shot, because you gotta see how blue that water is. Look at that. Just, I could seriously watch this for days. So cool. I will definitely miss this view and these vibes. So I realized that in this whole process, what I haven't done for you, the viewer, is give you some skills and some tips and some tricks that if you are going on your very first Atlantis cruise, how to make the best possible time for yourself. So I think now I'm gonna go over a couple of things that are just best practices and how to prepare for your perfect Atlantis cruise, okay? Here we go. If you're wondering when it is you should pack in order to depart the ship, it's not the day you depart the ship, it's the day before. Trust, you want to do that. You'll get the layout of the ship sooner than later, but it's important to know where everything is, including your cabin, because you are going to be getting them steps in. I know it feels like you're going to be relaxing and just chilling the whole time, but trust me, 5 or 6 days, your knees are going to feel it. So you want to make sure you find the quickest route to and from everything you care about going to.
Your body needs water, so drink that shit. Your body needs water, so drink that shit. Your body needs water, so drink that shit. Your body.
Pack as much sunscreen as you think you're going to need, and then pack more. Pack the antacid, pack the Gas X, pack the Pepto, because you're going to be discovering a side of yourself when it comes to food you never knew existed. And you may have varying levels of shame on that based on your own personal experience, but you're going to be eating a lot. Come with a plan. You're never going to be able to do everything. Pick and choose the things you want to do, but also be flexible. If you have a number 1 spot you want to do, have a number 2 ready, because sometimes that restaurant can't get you in right away, or sometimes that show is sold out, but you'll have another opportunity to see it. So have a plan, but remain flexible. It's the 70s party. So we got the Donna Summer musical, the disco ball, the short shorts, no roller skates, because I don't want to die. And Dave's wearing his Liza shirt. Liza! Wrapped up the disco tea dance, which is, I think, both of our favorite party of the whole cruise. It's just the entire soundtrack of my formative years. Just so good, so fun. And honestly, it's just really nice to see people of all ages just tearing it up on the dance floor. You know, you got the elders, you know, reliving the past days, and you got folks like me reliving their childhood, and you've got, you know, the younger people that don't remember any of this, but they're just here for the party, and it's just super fun. Just had the last dinner of the cruise. Went into Extra Virgin with our buddies that we met in the airport on the way here, actually, and they'll be flying home with us too. It's a really lovely last meal, and yeah, I'm all full, and we've got the last party tonight, which is the last dance party, which is always fun. We're not going to be staying out too late because we are deboarding the ship tomorrow, and hard to believe it's over. I know, like, we're all packed, and that was it. And then we arrive in Portugal in the morning, which is absolutely crazy, but it's been a great ride. We've arrived at our final destination, and check this out. Hi, Portugal. Man, can't wait to get a look at this beautiful place. And this is it, y'all. Last words from the room. Tell ya, I will miss our little home away from home. I will miss the automatic curtains that automatically opened whenever you opened the cabin door. They'd be like, oh, here, which was awesome. I will miss the moods that you could program the lighting. I will miss the 2 little bottles of water that they would replace for us every time we left the room. And I'll miss the little surprises, like coming back to find our bed fully made and turned down, and, you know, cute little towels and stuff left for us. Is just, this trip has been incredible. The cruise has been absolutely marvelous. The staff with Atlantis and Virgin are top tier. Like, I tell you, acknowledged us every time they saw us, always asked if they could help, very friendly, super nice, just like next level experience. And I am raring to get out there. You can't see it. I am raring to get out there and go explore Lisbon, Portugal, because it looks absolutely beautiful. But for now, this is it, y'all. We are off this ship. Oh, this is nice. I can still feel the boat moving. Okay. Look at that. Oh, that's very cool. Okay. Let's take a look at the bathroom. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, okay. That's all right, I know that's a toilet. I'm assuming that's a very sink-looking bidet. I just took perhaps the most necessary shower of my life It has been a beautiful day here in Lisbon, Portugal, and our friend Jorg was nice enough to come down from Porto, where he lives, to give us a whole tour of the place, and he took us to some amazing spots, but Lord, that sun was doing the most. The weather here is so beautiful, but it's so hot, so sunny. I've been drinking all the water, and I'm pretty sure I got a little sunburn, but it's all right. It's worth it, because honestly, this place is so beautiful, and I'm not gonna lie, I will keep it a stack with y'all. This is probably some of the best food I've had on this entire trip. We got started by checking into our hotel, which, as you saw, was lovely. We went down to go see a couple of things. There was a church, and we got to see this incredible monastery from medieval times. Vasco da Gama is actually buried there, and just so beautiful. It was a monastery 500 years ago, but now it's just kind of open to the public, and you can see it. And there's this great statue on the waterfront celebrating the discoveries of Portugal. They have a lot of national pride here, and it shows in everything that they do. And it's just so beautiful. The city streets are just so cool. And man, that terrain, I'll tell you, after 10 days on that boat and walking in all these cities and in Spain and France and Morocco and now here, my knees have had quite enough of my nonsense. And they are letting me know it today. They really, really are. We went for lunch at this great... I guess it's the equivalent of like a Portuguese food court, but they had so many incredible things and so many options to choose from. And I'm not gonna lie, Jorg was kind of horrified by my choice of dessert, but we'll get to that in a moment. My decision paralysis is doing the absolute most right now. I really wanted to try this seafood place. They had a lot of options for Dave, and Jorg wound up eating there too. And I had the Lagosta Americana, which I'm sure I just butchered. I apologize. And it was a lobster with this really creamy sauce and rice, and it was delicious. I didn't even care that I was like hyperventilating from heat exhaustion while eating it. It was really, really tasty and less than 20 euro. Like, what? Where can you even get a plate like that in the States? You cannot. And then for dessert, I spotted this place that was called Crush American Donuts, and these were some of the coolest, yummiest looking donuts I have ever seen. And I know I'm being such a bad tourist by eating American anything while I'm in Lisbon, but they look so good. And my God, I had the red velvet donut, and y'all, you don't even know, my God. I got the red velvets. Oh yeah. The cream cheese frosting on it was so good, and there were real bits of red velvet cake on top, and there was Bavarian cream in the middle of this yeast donut. Oh my God. I could only eat half of it because it was an absolute sugar bomb, but I carried the other half with me for half the day like it was my baby. Like, I literally guarded that thing with my life, and I took it with me everywhere until we finally reached a little cafe and I had time to eat the other half. Now, Jorg was really disappointed that I didn't want to go for his first choice of dessert, which I really should have, which is a Portuguese custard tart. It is a staple here in Portugal, and there is actually a frozen version of it available at Trader Joe's, which I know doesn't help my case, but I've had those before. He actually got them fresh for us, and you could see where they're making the tarts in the back, and it was like so warm and flaky, this pastry crust, and in the middle was this delicious, like, almost a tapioca-style mascarpone, sweet, creamy thing, and like a custard. Oh, that's lovely.
It's a little different than Trader Joe's, right?
It was delicious, and it went so well with the tiniest little espresso I've ever seen. So thank you, Jorg, for insisting that I eat that, because you were absolutely right. We went further along in our day and making a few stops at cafes because, again, hot. I enjoyed a rum and Coke, and I can't tell you how long it has been since I've had a Coca-Cola made with actual cane sugar, because they don't make that in the States. They also don't have Diet Coke here, so I went whole hog and got a real Bacardi and Coke, and it was just the most refreshing and necessary thing ever. Quite lovely. Another stop on our day was we actually saw this little ice cream shop, this little Italian place that we wanted to stop, kind of use the bathroom, drink more water. I cannot get enough water here, y'all. You don't even know. Because once we got into this hotel room and I figured out this wasn't vodka, oh yeah, I went to town on it. But we drank some water and I went a little off script with my ice cream choice and I saw a flavor I hadn't seen in years. Mulberry. Mulberry ice cream. We used to have a mulberry bush in our yard when I was little, growing up in Cranston, Rhode Island, and I remember eating them off the bush, and they had a very distinct flavor, kind of, you know, somewhere between bramble and like a blackberry, but oh my God, this was some of the best ice cream I've ever had. It was so delicious. The colors were so vibrant. It tasted so good, so creamy, so refreshing, just absolutely a perfect way to spend the afternoon. And I was able to do a little shopping, and Jorg took us into this incredible house that had been turned into a restaurant, and it kind of looks run down on the outside, but once you get in, oh my God, absolutely amazing. Like, just the architecture here is so incredible, and just it has been such a wonderful visit, and we have managed to pack so much in, and we're still not done yet, because after we're done showering here, we're getting ready to go to dinner. So more to come. After taking us on the longest walk of our lives, we reached the restaurant we were going to have dinner at in Lisbon. It was a charming place called Versiculo, which we kept calling Testicular because we are children. It was a very charming place with an exciting menu full of local favorites and lots of fresh seafood, which I was pretty excited about. The first thing I got was shrimp, and I had forgotten that overseas when you order shrimp, yeah, it's still got its face on it, so I had to deal with that, but it was delicious. Jorg had a beer and an octopus, which couldn't be further away from my culinary or beverage tastes, but you know what? To each their own, and he said it was wonderful. My main dish was a steak with mashed potatoes. It had dried fish flakes on it, which were delicious, but also mango. Chunks of mango and mashed potato. It was so good. Also, the desserts were legit. This panna cotta was incredible, and my favorite had to have been this chocolate cake with grapes and peppercorn. And shout out to this queen for rocking this terrain in heels, because my God. And then we hit up this cute little gay bar, and I do mean little, because this is literally the whole place. It was kind of awesome, and I actually really enjoyed it, and there were great people, and it was a really fun experience and a taste of Lisbon's nightlife. There is such a thriving nightlife here in Lisbon. Like, we literally, it's almost 11 o'clock, and things are just getting started. And there are so many places that are just hopping, and fun restaurants and bars, and there's just a really great nightlife here. And it's just so cool. It's just so cool.
And just like that, it was over. Time to go home. The shortest, longest vacation of my life was coming to an end, and it was time to head back to the US. And I will never forget any of the things I did or ate or experienced on this incredible trip.
Ran into a slight technical mishap at the airport, and we're only slightly triggered right now. Slightly. The lounges, like up there, you can kick it. That's really cool. I mean, it'd be cooler if we knew where we were going right now, but we'll get there. It is an adventure getting through the Lisbon airport, but we are finally at the gate, and when I presented my passport, the officer said, "Where are you going?" And I had to take a minute, because I'm like, where am I going? Longest travel leg of the day is now done. We are back on US soil and have landed, Dave's a little delirious, and have landed in Philadelphia. Now we have to go through customs, where they will ask us if we have anything to declare, and I'm going to say yes. I declare that Coke Zero is not an acceptable substitute for Diet Coke. Europe. But other than that, nothing. As soon as the little video came on, it was like, welcome to the United States. I was like, oh God. I love America, but she's been a lot here lately, all right? Cut me some slack. Last leg. Almost there.
Start your journey. We hope you enjoy your time here in San Diego area or